Hello, I'm Chef Don McMillan, and welcome to Simple and Delicious Recipes. Hey, today we're going to do something that you will use over and over for many different desserts. You might even just eat it out of the bowl. I'm going to make an authentic pastry cream recipe using, when I say authentic, real vanilla beans. I'm going to show you how to use these as well, and you will love this recipe. So, let's get started. So, with these vanilla beans, the way you extract the flavor, it's not from the outside, it's actually the seeds on the inside. And what I do is, I anchor my knife right in there, and then just pull the bean towards you, just like this, look. Alright. Now I'm going to use two beans for this because I've got a double recipe. But I'm going to just go ahead and pull this one through too. So I'm just pulling the bean right through. But now let me show you how to extract the seeds that are on the inside of them. When I was traveling and I visited the islands of Seychelles, and I was walking along the mountains and I was crumbling under my feet, and there were all these things. I was wondering why. This is a tropical country. I didn't think there was any leaves, but they weren't. They were vanilla beans. Look, little black seeds. In the pot it goes. I told my driver, I started picking them up, and he thought I was crazy. And he said, why are you picking all those things up? I said, well, in my country, they're $2 a piece. He said, well, let me help you. And he started grabbing a whole bunch. And I had vanilla beans for a while. But there it is. There's that thing. You can buy a vanilla bean paste if you wish, but this is more fun, I think. Get the vanilla beans. And they are available definitely online. But just hold your knife just like this and scrape. And as you're scraping, the seeds will expose themselves right here. Don't throw these casings away. Put them in a jar with some sugar, and you've got the best vanilla sugar. And if you want to make your own vanilla extract, put them in a jar with some vodka. Let it set for a while, and believe me, you'll have your own vanilla, and you won't use any of the vanilla in the store. Okay? Now, I got some seeds on here, so I'm going to throw them in there as well. All right, so now that the seeds are in there, we want to go ahead and place in our milk. Now, I don't want to boil the milk, okay? I just want it to get hot. How do I know when it gets hot? You look at the edges, and when you see tiny bubbles on the edges, stop, okay? Stop the process. If you let it boil, there's a good chance your milk is going to curdle, and then what are you going to do? Start all over again, right? So let's go ahead and pour our milk in there. And I have here a little spatula. Let's get all those seeds in there. And for this recipe, I'm going to use half the sugar. So half the sugar is going to go into the milk, and then half the sugar is going to go into the egg. So let's pour some sugar in there. 50-50. You can eyeball it, all right? Be just fine. Now, let's turn the fire on. Keep an eye on this. Don't walk away. Don't answer the phone. Don't look at your favorite television show. Just keep an eye on this. Now, these little black seeds in there, you might say, well, I don't like those seeds in there. Well, you know you can strain them out if you wish. I leave them in because then you know it's the real thing. Just like Breyer's ice cream, where you see the black seeds in there. #1 selling vanilla ice cream in the United States. So I leave them in there. Keep an eye on it. I'm going to go to medium temperature here. I'm going to place my seeds off to the side. The vanilla bean pods, because we'll use those later. But more importantly, I want to talk to you now about eggs. So it looks like I have a lot of bowls here, and I do. And the reason I have a lot of bowls is because I'm going to need only the egg yolks. I will use the egg whites for another purpose. You can save the egg whites by putting them into a Ziploc bag, date them, freeze them. They freeze beautifully, they defrost beautifully. You can use them in a royal icing for example, or if you want to whip them up and make a meringue, it does wonderful. So don't throw your egg whites away just because, okay? So we have our eggs, and I'm going to separate the eggs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a separate bowl for every time I break an egg. Why? If I'm doing egg whites and I'm going to make meringue, if I get a little bit of the yolk in there, forget about it. It's not going to whip up, all right? So if I separate them, and let's say the yolk breaks in the middle, and it happens, okay? Put it aside. You got eggs for breakfast. You got eggs for cakes, whatever you want to do with it. You can save it. This milk is just heating up nice. Let me turn the temperature down a little bit more. Keep an eye on the milk. Don't walk away from it. All right, so I have 3 bowls. 1 bowl for the egg yolks, which I'm going to whip up. 1 bowl for the egg whites, which I'm going to save. And the other bowl for every time I break an egg, okay? So always break an egg on a flat surface, not on the edge. So flat surface, egg breaks in half. And then I usually go back and forth like that. Okay, and there's our yolk and our white. And then we do it over again. All right, look, our egg yolks there, egg whites there. I'm going to place those in a Ziploc bag, date them, put how many egg whites are in there, and when I freeze them, I'll have them again for royal icing. I'll have them for a lot of other purposes that I need. Now we're going to make our pastry cream. Remember that sugar? Put the rest of it right in there, okay? And we have flour. Seems like a lot of flour, but it'll make up a really beautiful pastry cream sauce. The egg yolks will thicken as well as the flour. And the vanilla and the sugar is going to be sweet. Now, I should point out, here in the United States, we like things with extra sugar, so a lot of sugar. If you wish to put more sugar into this, feel free to do so, okay? This is more of the European style pastry cream, which has just enough sugar, so it'll be sweet enough. All right, you want to whip that up really good. I turned my milk off, okay, because it's just got little tiny bubbles on the side, and I'm good with that. You whip up the egg yolks along with the flour and the sugar. Whip it up pretty good, all right? You don't see any more white. All right, so now we're going to temper our pastry cream. What do I mean by temper it? I mean I'm going to take the hot and the cold and I'm going to combine it together. When I combine it together, it's going to be warm. But if I dumped all of this into that or vice versa, I would have the biggest mess and it wouldn't be pastry cream. It'd be something that you wouldn't want. All right, let's place this off to the side. Take your ladle and a little bit at a time. Be patient, okay? This is a work of love. And then just stir it in there slowly. And as you're doing that, the temperature of the eggs are going to get a little bit warmer, but we don't want to cook them, not yet. All right, we want to turn them into a delicious sauce. And you can make this pastry cream ahead of time. You can refrigerate it. I would say up to 3 days would be good. This is going to be delicious. See how it's working now? Thinning out a little bit. We're going to actually, when half of this vanilla milk gets into the bowl, we're going to transfer all of it back into the pot because we're going to cook it for about a minute and it will thicken up. And once that happens, we're ready. Now, you may even think that, well, I could just substitute pudding. Well, you could, right? But it wouldn't be the same. Pudding usually is made with corn starch. Rarely does it have eggs in it. And never will it ever taste the same. Okay? So, not a good substitute. This is an act of love. I told you this is a work of love. And a little bit of expense, that those vanilla beans aren't exactly cheap. I've got about half the milk into here now. So at that point, let me put these down. I'm going to go ahead and pour my egg, flour, sugar mixture into the vanilla milk. Okay, give it a good stir. Get every drop in there. And now we're going to turn the heat on and we're going to cook it about a minute. You will see that it'll start thickening up, and once that happens, then we're going to go ahead and stop it, pour it into a bowl, and let it cool. Starting to thicken up. I'm feeling it. You can't walk away from this. If you're going to put the heat on it, stay there and keep stirring. Keep an eye out. Scrape all the bottoms, scrape the sides. Don't let any part go, and keep the motion going. It's going to take the good part of a minute, maybe 2 minutes, depending on the pot and the heat source. But that's just about it. You can start telling, of course, when it's thick, but then you'll see like little volcano pop, pop, and that's when it's done. It won't get any thicker. See that? I'm talking about the popping. Okay, see that? That's done. Now, we're going to transfer from our pot to a bowl. Let it cool a little bit. We also want to do something else. We're going to enrich it. And to do it, now is the perfect time. What I have here is butter. And we're going to stir in the butter. I'm going to do a little bit at a time. I already got the fire off, okay? It's not cooking anymore. Probably it is a little bit because the pot is hot. But we're going to stir in the butter, make it nice and rich. I cut them in little smaller pieces so it would melt a little quicker. This is going to be good. Going to be good. Yes. So if you've ever traveled in Europe, this is the pastry cream that they put into all those fabulous pastries like Napoleon's, also the pastries like cream puffs. By the way, we are also doing videos with cream puffs. We're going to put the links below so you can check it out and maybe be thinking like, oh, this is how they live over there in Europe, and we're going to enjoy every bite of it. Of course, living over here is pretty good too. You know, we're at the beach right now and enjoying the weather, the climate, and obviously good food. All right, in there it goes. So as I mentioned earlier, this is a double recipe, and we're going to make extra because we need it for later. All right, let's stir that in. A little bit more. I'm using a silicone tool. Enables me to get all the goodies from the side and the bottom. Okay, it's almost ready. I've got another tip I want to show you in just a minute, but I do want to taste this just in case, right? It's always good to taste. I think I've said this before. Never trust a chef that won't taste his or her own food, right? Okay, so that is perfect. I could just stand here and eat this whole thing, couldn't I? But I'm not. I'm going to put it right here in this bowl. Our pastry cream is ready to, let it set just for a little bit outside. Put it in the refrigerator. Let it cool. But I got to show you this one more tip. It's very important. And that is this. When you put plastic wrap, don't cover the bowl with plastic wrap. You're going to get a skin. We don't want a skin on there. So in order to avoid that from happening, take the plastic wrap. Okay. Used to do this with wax paper when I was very younger, but now we got this wonderful plastic wrap. See what I'm doing? Right here on top. Make sure it touches that. Now, if you wish, you can put another plastic wrap over the top, and that would be good, but you need to do this. And then when you take the plastic wrap off, you won't have that skin underneath. Okay, let's take another bit right here. And there it is. Okay, the best pastry cream that you've ever made or ever tasted. Perfect for all of your wonderful, delicious Napoleons, cream puffs, all those desserts you like to make. So, as always, you know, when you're cooking with Chef Don, it's really simple and delicious. But please hook us up below. I'm gonna put the recipes down there. I'm gonna put some links to some of the other desserts that we make. And I'd like for you to sign up on Patreon. It would really, really help us. And then while you're signing up, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button, because we're gonna send you more videos, hundreds of videos. Really, we're gonna have a whole library of cooking that you're gonna enjoy. Share with your friends, hit that like button, let them know you like it, and tell them to watch Chef Don, because cooking with Chef Don, it's simple and delicious.